Welcome to the very first Dalicious Games with Dali, where we're going to talk about some of the games that Dali's been playing. Up first is the very charming Fishing Paradiso. Fishing Paradiso is the most chill fishing game I've ever played. Takes place in the afterlife. We're dead, woohoo! But we're not just staying dead, we're trying to figure out what the actual meaning of the afterlife is through fishing. It's obvious, fishing. Very chill fishing, in fact. The entire vibe of the game is like wading in a shallow pond. There's no pressure. I can't get swept away, and I can float as long as I want. Okay, enough of the analogies. The game focuses on catching fish, sure, but it's really only there to support the sort of existential backdrop of life after death. People still have needs in heaven, surprisingly, and are trying to deal with their own mortality in different ways. Some are sad, some are happy, some are curious, some just want to go through the motions. In this case, heaven is a series of 16-bit islands and lands and ponds and oceans in which people are very aware of being an NPC without saying it out loud. Our ultimate goal, as conveyed by a little blue bird at the very beginning of the game, is to buy a house in heaven on an island. To do that, we need to raise money by helping those very same souls, usually through fishing. A lot of fishing. Now, you might think, well, what kind of fishing is this? It's definitely a fishing game, but more like Golf Story was a golf game. There's still enough RPG and light action to make us feel like there's a story and progression wrapped around the whole thing. Thankfully, the fishing part is easy to digest. It's a mix of Animal Crossing's Shadowfish aiming and the 3DS Street Pass's Ultimate Angler's pullback. That makes the actual fishing aspect here fairly straightforward. Just cast, tap A, and reel it in. If our stamina's about to give, we let out some of the line and then pull back in. Sometimes they get away, sometimes they don't. With the money we save from these quests, we can improve our rods and try again. Eventually, we can afford that magical house. And that's it. It's an accessible game that lets us play at the speed we want, meeting some interesting characters and enjoying those plot points along the way. And we get to go to space. There's no deep end to Fishing Paradiso's heaven, but there is a very nice sun ledge. It's out on PC, where I played it thanks to Odin Cat for the code, as well as Switch and mobile devices. Up next, we're going to talk about Life's Too Short, one of the games that I've been playing on this little handy device that I like to call a PlayDate. You can kind of see it right now. It has a crank, and it's yellow. Look at that, I can go through the different games in some unique ways. But enough about me and my awesome little toy. Let's talk about Life's Too Short. The really interesting aspect about Life's Too Short is you're a ghost. Hey, there seems to be a theme here with what we've been talking about, isn't there? Well, in this case, Life's Too Short has you going into this beautiful, sort of Atari-ish world where you have to help people, or ghosts, or vampires, you don't know what they are just yet, have kind of a fun little night. It's a short game, maybe about 25 to 30 minutes long, has a little bit of adventure and point and click feel to it, but I think that brings that retro flavor right back in fashion. Anyways, Life's Too Short. It's kind of short. Like I said, it's about 25 minutes, but that 25 minutes can be endlessly replayable because it's the same game over and over again if you replay it for 25 minutes. Anyways, I like the ghost. I like the aesthetic. It's on PlayDate. It's very simple to play. And that's a snake, which is really weird. Life's Too Short. It's pretty awesome. Moving on. There we go. Dungeon Escape by Cinez Productions. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Dungeon Escape, well, think of it this way. Have you played Adventure on your Atari? Or how about Venture on your Atari? How about either of those games, the sequels on your Atari? That's what Dungeon Escape is. It is basically those games, but on the PlayDate. Kudos to the developer who basically learned to code from watching YouTube videos, which we all should do, and created this little gem. It's an adventure game. You go through, collect keys. There's a little bit of Zelda flavor to it. You got a sword. You can beat up some enemies and kind of make your way out of this dungeon. That's it. There are hearts. It's awesome. That's the game. I hope you enjoy it. So, anyways, that's all I'm going to talk about today because I think that it's a lot of fun. The Playdate is good. Pick one up. Fishing Paradiso. Life's too short on the Playdate. And Dungeon Escape. There you go, right there. There you go. Beautiful. Do it. That's it. Bye.